I'm Susan Caruso, the founding director of Sunflower Creative Arts, and you're listening to the Sunflower Bridge podcast, where we talk about being with children.
And my name is Lindsey Mills. I'm the co-creator of Sunflower Bridge, and we would love for you to take a breath right now and smile with us. We are so thrilled to be joined in the studio today by Kimberly Hopkins, who is a beloved member of the sunflower community and a current sunflower parent.
Hi, everyone. I'm so happy to be here with you guys. This is so great.
We're excited.
So, a couple questions to get us going. Would you mind telling us the names and ages of your children, and also what kind of play memories you might have from your own childhood?
Okay. So I'm the mother to 3. I have Abigail, who is 6 years old. I have James, who's 4. And then I have my little one, Liam, who's 1.5 already.
Wow.
Yeah.
Moving around, walking around, not a baby anymore.
Not
Yes.
a baby, a boy, a little boy. And I think general memories of play as a little one for myself. You know, I grew up really rural on a farm, and we were just playing outside, barefoot and making up games. I'm the youngest of 3. I have a big brother and a big sister, and there were always people who worked on the farm would bring their kids a lot to work.
Cool.
And cousins, and just sort of running around outside, getting into mud and nature and all that kind of good stuff.
Nice. That's really a gift.
Yes.
A little farm gang.
Yeah. Yeah. And I was like the little one, like bringing up the rear, you know? So that was special.
Wow, I can see why with that experience you would have been drawn to the seedlings program at Sunflower, with it being mixed age and nature playscape like we have. That all adds up.
Very much. Yeah. It fit right in.
Cool. And where was the farm?
So it's in New York, about an hour north of Manhattan, but extremely rural. You don't know you're so close. Like, I remember when we got a traffic light in town. So
That's small.
yeah, it's Circleville. It is teeny tiny.
Oh,
What kinds of things did you grow, or was it a dairy farm?
My dad, he had family who were dairy farmers. My parents owned a farm market that was open pretty much year round. And
amazing.
He has greenhouses, so like lots of nursery stock, like plants you might plant in your garden, or like hanging baskets, for your porch, garlic, corn, tomatoes.
Yes.
All kinds of, seasonal New York, kind of a little bit of everything.
Oh, yeah.
Wow, and they spend part of the time down here, and he's brought us plants.
Yes.
Local plants. Lots, actually.
Yes. He just asked the other day, he's like, can I come on Tuesdays when you're there? And of course, yeah.
Aww.
So, yeah, it's really special. It feels like home in a lot of ways.
Yeah. And so your parents now just come and spend a little time in Florida?
Yeah, they're trying, it's like 6-ish months.
All right.
On and off. We're like snowbirding it at this point, but it's not set in stone, But yeah, all of my siblings are down here. Their grandchildren are here.
Amazing.
So they're up on the farm. And, being upstate New York, winter is not a farming time.
No.
So they have greenhouses, so there's still a lot to attend to. But yeah, they're able to spend some time, which is so great for all of us.
Yeah. Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
So you've been part of a lot of sunflower programs.
Yes.
And how did you find us? How did you come to find us?
I had the greatest neighbors, and they had little ones who are just a few years older than mine. And so they had done seedlings. And we were, with my oldest, brand new. You you don't know where to go, what to do, who to call.
Right.
And so they were so sweet. And it just came up in conversation that we had begun looking for Abby. It was also during COVID. And so we didn't do a pre-K3 program for her because that was, the sign up would have been early 2020. And so it wasn't, we weren't doing anything, right? Safer at home, all that good stuff. And so, they were like, oh, you would love it. And they were right. And then I met Susan and was like, I'm never leaving.
Yes.
And it's the truth.
Stop me now, please. So Abby began her like pre-K4 year as a seedling. And then James the following year, because he had turned 3, so he was then a seedling, and she did her kindergarten year, and they got to be in the same class together.
Yes.
Which is incredible. And now baby Liam is a sprout.
Oh.
And so we're there on Tuesdays and Saturdays, and because Bridge.
Yes, because Bridge. Yes. So Kim is one of the first families to enroll in our Sunflower Bridge program, which we created during those deep COVID lockdown months.
Yeah.
With exactly you in mind. It was very much designed as a way to be able to continue supporting families while we couldn't have as many people on the campus. We couldn't have the parents in the Seedlings preschool program as parent helpers as we had in the past. And the Bridge program really emerged as this awesome little incubator, I want to say, for these families that were brave enough to try something new and show up for 8 weeks in a row for 1.5 hour long discussions. So will you share with us what maybe drew you to the program initially, and what, if anything, that surprised you about it once you got into it?
Oh, that's so great. I was really searching for community, and I had been really wanting to feel like, for me in particular, I had other adult women who wanted to be in community. And as soon as I spoke with, so I met Susan at the, you go to Sunflower prior to enrolling officially and like getting a place in Seedlings. And so I had met her and was like, oh, Susan is one of my people. Like, I need her forever, please. Yeah. And then Lindsey told me about this thing that she was creating, and I was like, Lindsey has been thinking of me. Like, even though we didn't know each other, it really I just felt so connected to both of you from the very moment we opened our mouths. And so it was just one of those things where you think of like the universe and like it just clicked. We were meant to figure this out together, you know? And I felt so lucky to have women pouring out what I needed in, it really felt like I had found people who were investing in something that I needed. And I think as a parent, or even particular as a mother, you feel like you outpour so much. And that is a shock to the system as a new mom, and of course you want nothing more, you love it, and it's your whole life. And then it's a struggle to find real relationships, especially not like outside of if you're lucky enough to have a partner, a husband, or whatever. Outside of that, I wanted other people who were important to me and who I could give to, and they could give back to me, and we could have this beautiful reciprocal relationship, and to who I trusted with being around my children. And that is particular, like, I'm sensitive about who's around my babies, and so is my husband, and he is too. And I just felt so connected immediately. And hearing that you guys had something in the works where you wanted to share community in a greater way, in a more in-depth way, in a more intimate way as like a small group. Like we love a large gathering. It's so great to be one of many in a space. And I think that is awesome for certain kinds of interactions and relationships. And then to also be in like a small group with people and really feel safe to share not fun and pretty things that are happening all the time and what we're really struggling with. I mean, you can't get rid of me. I'm never going to.
Yeah.
I feel so connected.
It's so wonderful because it's just, we knew that we needed to do something, and we talked to people, and we listened to what we what we were really hearing, and so the Sunflower Bridge journey just bubbled up, and it really resonated with people, and also at that time it was something you could do. We do the Sunflower Bridge journey in person outside.
Yes.
Yeah.
We do it out in a nature playscape.
Very crucial to that timeline.
Absolutely. I felt so safe. In every way, I felt so safe.
Yeah.
And you had helpers for kids, so I could talk to grown-ups and like finish a sentence, and it was such a gift in every capacity because I knew my kids were safe. I knew they're outside, and they're having friends, they're making little friends, and it was filling their cups while mine was getting filled too.
That's a great way of putting it.
And that's so hard to find, that it's so difficult. And it was just like, okay, I live here now. Thank you for having me.
So Kimberly has gone from being a Seedlings parent to being a Bridge Journey participant, the original Bridge Journey, and has done all of the alum groups as well in each of the seasons that we do them. Yeah. So I always say, you're coming back. Yeah. Thank goodness.
Yeah.
And so it's been.
You could guide a journey
I would
yourself.
If you guys can't come one day, if you need someone to fill in, I'd be happy to do so. Yeah.
And that's the great thing about that alum group, especially. First of all, in the original group, everybody is sharing all the time. But in the alum group, we have the opportunity to kind of go deep into what's happening for people like right now.
Presently.
Yeah. And it's a mix of experienced and not so experienced parents. So I can always count on Kimberly and James to bring up the points and to make the statements that the other parents go, oh yeah, oh, this is filling my cup.
Yeah.
I just thought it was so powerful that you perceived that benefit that we saw needed to be a part of Bridge, which is the reciprocity, which is not that we're just talking at you and didactically telling you like this is the way and this is how to parent. Like, I'm not a parent. What position would I be in to be giving advice like that? But more broadly, that each family that comes, regardless of their level of experience, they bring wisdom. They bring their own knowledge that they've accumulated over their life. And so there's somebody in the circle who's going through something that you've already been through. Mm-hmm. And that is sometimes the most powerful medicine, is to hear somebody say, ooh, that is so hard. And I was really there. I know exactly how you're feeling. That's like all that need be said sometimes.
Absolutely, to feel understood and to feel next to somebody who's going through it, or you can help them or they can help you, and just that camaraderie of having a community and everybody's showing up, and for better or worse, or messy, or sometimes we've got snacks and water bottles and sunscreen, and sometimes we're like barely getting there, right? And it's just I think it's so rare, particularly in this season, in this time period where like we're all feeling immense pressure to be like picture perfect all of the time, and everything is just like super put together and super organized and all of the things. And I think it's so profoundly healthy to be in realistic spaces with people where you don't feel a need to be performative. And as you were saying, it's not prescriptive. Bridge is not like a lecture on parenting and this is what you should do in this way at this time, or else you're wrong.
Yeah.
And that's hard. You know, it's so valuable because there are, I mean, you guys are just such a wealth of like actual knowledge and wisdom. And there's also this major component of sharing. And so I think having those things be combined, where it's not just like, let's talk about being a mom, or let's talk about, it's got for me, what I would say is like the perfect amount of structure, because we have insight, we have this wisdom, we're helping each other discover things that are like truly valuable to our experience without being like, bring your notebooks and don't talk and, you know.
Yeah.
I love it.
Wow. Me too.
Yeah.
You did a good job.
Oh, thank you. We're so glad that it was created in this way where we were able to be informed by whoever was in the group, and it continues to be that way. Today was the beginning of the fall 2023 Bridge Journey alumni program, so it continues to evolve, I think, based on the needs of the families that find us. And
there's never enough time to talk about all of the things that we want to talk about.
Yeah.
And everybody gets a chance to share and to be seen and heard with each other. And so as a leader of that group, it's just so much fun to just kind of choreograph it a little. I don't do that much. I'm there to answer questions and stuff, but it's really like a dance that we're shaping, and everybody gets a solo in it, and everybody has, you know, just amazing things to say, and we go really deep, and it gets pretty intimate sometimes within the safety of that group.
Yeah, that's another thing that you touched on, which is the intimacy of the group, and that there aren't a ton of settings in modern life where you have that level of intimacy, and so you do feel safe to share like what you're really going through, and you're, as you were saying, not performative.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think in my experience, the only people that I would share like real true struggles with are people either who are like my mom, you know, like my immediate nuclear family of origin, my husband, or like my very close friends that I've been friends with for, I mean, some of my friends are from elementary school, you know?
Like, a lot of history.
Exactly. And so you don't have the opportunity to have a lot of like genuine, true interaction with adult friends who you have this level of conversation with, this depth of conversation with. And I think nobody just like goes in and starts like sharing their deep trauma or struggles. Like that's not where we begin from like a socially acceptable place. And so to have something like this really facilitate, and of course there's never any pressure, but it's like, what's going on in your life? Would you like to share what's going on in parenthood or partnership or those kinds of things? And that's important, and moving through those things in community together and with guidance and wisdom is just a tremendous gift. And I think it's so accessible here, and you guys have done such a tremendous job of making that ingrained within the program. And that's not easy to do. Like, that doesn't exist other places. That's not easy to do.
Yeah, so what do you see, because you've been such an integral part of this, and you know the program, where do you see the Bridge Journey program going? What do you see for Sunflower in the future as a parent with wishes and wanting to see what happens with the growth with Sunflower? Where would you like to see us go in the next 30 years?
Oh man, everywhere.
We're celebrating 30 years, and here I am. My generation and a couple generations below me brought Sunflower to this spot, and so here we are on this. We've reached our 30-year ceiling, and what is at this floor that this next generation is taking? Where do you see us going from here?
Gosh, I just think it's such a special space, and it's such a powerful sort of way of being in community, mindset of this like welcoming of families and all the different kinds of family structures and all of the things. And I would just love to see more people have this as an option for themselves. I mean, I think of like new moms because I think you're just so vulnerable and you don't know. I feel like a lot of people, me, but a lot of other people too, like you don't know what the heck you're doing or where to go or who you can be friends with or how you can, and to have you guys and to think of Lindsey, who's not a parent, who's like thinking of you and pouring into you, is just like, the best. And Susan, who understood the need for this community and then worked so hard to create this beautiful thing. Like there are people out there thinking of your needs, and that is tremendous when you don't understand that or feel that way. And I think new moms feel overlooked a lot. Yeah. And you're not, and we're here, and you can come, and that is so powerful. Wow. So just putting that out there for more people to understand and just be aware of, I think is spreading our wings a little bit, getting out there. Yeah.
I love it.
Thank you. Wow.
Thank you.
Okay, I have, I think 2 more questions.
Okay.
So one, before we leave the topic of bridge and maybe also seedlings, I'm curious if there is one sort of tool or mindset shift that you discovered in a sunflower program or in a sunflowery manner outside of sunflower that you're going to carry with you even when your children grow up?
Oh, I love that. I think how you guys begin, like obviously I listen to the podcast.
Hey!
And I come to the meetings and all of the things, but I think you're so gracious to remind us that, you have these tools and you forget them in the moment, and we all, like the 80-20, we're not our best, most conscious present selves all of the time. And I think to truly just like take a breath and you can release expectations and you're here and you're safe.
Thank you, Kim. I needed to take a breath.
Yeah, you're allowed. And it's stressful. And I think as parents in particular, and parents of young children in the here and now, there's extraordinarily so many messages of what you should do. And it is a long, intense list, right?
It's exhausting.
It's exhausting to even think about, much less to do the things with little kids, right? Yeah. And so I think that sunflower, just the whole, I don't mean to like wiggle around it, but just the entire sense of you are enough and you can breathe through it and you can release unrealistic expectations, and your children are happy playing in the dirt and they'll be okay and they're having a nice time and so are you. And
amazing.
Yeah, I think it is really powerful to add something and for me to like put something on the calendar and have this sort of commitment to myself and the community that I adore being a part of, and also to have it not be like picture perfect in the best, healthiest, realist way. And I think that is something that I bring into my marriage, I bring into my household, I bring into my like my whole life. And I think welcoming people truly from a place of where you are now, instead of your like ideal self with my like very clean house and my perfect food and all of I think that sunflower, just the whole energy of it is like, if I can say can I say everything? Can the answer be everything?
Yeah.
But yeah.
I love that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So articulate, and to hear you say that reflected back to us, it's amazing.
Yeah, that's the best possible sign that we're doing something right. So
all of us together. Because that's really what it is. It is a community.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, thank you so much for joining us today, Kim.
Thank you for having me.
Before we go, we would like to ask you, how is it that you are finding ways to play today, right now, in this time in your life?
For you,
yeah.
Kimberly.
For me.
Kimberly.
Yeah, how does Kimberly play?
That is tricky. As we know, I have a lot of children. So I play with them as much as I can, and I think Sunflower has really helped me, like, let go of my own neuroses of, like, the counters have to be clean, the dishes have to, like, let's just get on the floor and mess around. So my kids and I do play a lot together, and for myself, I really enjoy reading.
Oh, yeah.
And I know that's really not exactly play, but it is time for me that I can do what I want.
And you escape.
Yeah.
You go wherever the book takes
It's
you.
the best adventure,
It
right?
is, yes.
So I think that is something, I think Susan and I were just talking about this. My kids like me to sit with them while they fall asleep.
Oh, they fall asleep.
But we don't have to be touching. It's so I can be like in the chair, in their room, and they can be in their bed, and they just want me to be present. And I love that. And I want that close. This works for our family. And so I am in my book club, and I have my Kindle, and I just read away. And
Fabulous.
It's glorious, and I don't feel like we were saying there's no should. Like, I'm supposed to be sitting with my kids while they fall asleep, and I just get to do this fun thing, and I'm not doom scrolling, and I'm not on social media comparing myself, and I'm just having fun reading my book in the dark.
That's a huge win.
It is. It's so great.
Thank you. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you for having me. I love it so much.
You've been listening to the Sunflower Bridge podcast, where we talk about being with children. And if you would like to share what came up for you during this conversation, if you related to anything we talked about, we'd love to hear from you. You can send us an email at lindsey@sunflowercreativearts.org, or you can find us on Instagram at Sunflower Creative Arts. The Sunflower Bridge podcast is kindly sponsored by Schweitzer Musical Productions.